Eleanor just wanted quiet. No kids, no footsteps, no unfamiliar voices drifting through her ceiling. She filed the complaints. She shut her door. She stayed alone. But one day, the elevator dropped, the lights went out. And she found herself trapped with the very family she'd spent weeks resenting. What happened in that dark metal box didn't just change her fear. It changed her heart.
The footsteps started again. Light at first, quick taps, then a thump, then laughter spilling down through the ceiling like sunlight Eleanor did not ask for. She flinched. Not because it was loud. But because it was life. Uncontained. Uninvited. The kind that reminded her that her apartment, her world, had gotten small. Too small. She lifted her remote, paused the old jazz record. Silence. Then, another thump above. A sting of frustration rose up like heat in her chest. Why is it always noise now? Why can't people just be considerate? Eleanor grabbed her phone. Hands steady. Hello? Yes, it's Mrs. Grant in 4B again. It's that family upstairs. The new one. Could someone please remind them this is a residential building, not a playground? Her finger hovered over the end call button. She didn't like complaining. She used to be better than that. But routine was safety, and safety was quiet. Another laugh above. Small. Joy-filled. Innocent. She stabbed the button and hung up. The ceiling fell silent. Finally. Eleanor exhaled, sank back in her armchair. Her eyes drifted to the framed photo on the side table. A man with soft eyes and a smile that warmed like spring sunlight. Harold, she murmured, touching the glass. You always said noise meant living. Her throat tightened. That was easier to believe when you were here to make it. A soft tremor passed her hand. She flexed her fingers, steadying herself. As if the quiet could shatter at any second. Because lately, it always did. Eleanor gathered her mail with the slow, practiced care of someone used to filling silence with ritual. Envelope. Bill. Coupon. Junk. The hallway outside buzzed faintly, voices, shoes, life moving. She opened her door. And froze. They were right there, the family from upstairs. Two boys in backpacks bouncing with energy they hadn't used up yet. A mother smoothing scarves and adjusting jackets, soft-spoken commands in a language Eleanor didn't recognize but had heard enough to resent. The boys spotted her first. Hi, Mrs. Grant. Bright. Sincere. Too cheerful for a hallway at 6 p.m. Eleanor stiffened. Her smile strained, thin as tissue paper. Good evening, she managed. The younger boy took half a step forward, holding something small. My brother got a soccer sticker, want to see? Eleanor's fingers tightened on her mail stack. Oh, no thank you. That's kind. She stepped past them, body angled so they didn't brush her sleeve. The mother nodded politely, a warm, gentle gesture. Hope your evening is peaceful, she said softly, with an earnestness that made the words land heavier than expected. Eleanor hesitated. A flicker, guilt or annoyance, she couldn't tell. You too, she replied quickly, eyes already forward, pace brisk. As she reached her door, she heard one boy whisper. Why she never talks to us? Eleanor's breath caught, just for a moment. She turned her key. Her sanctuary waited. Inside, the door clicked shut a little too fast. A little too defensive. A little too afraid. The next morning, Eleanor pressed the elevator button with the same gentle precision she used for everything, tea bags, picture frames, memories. The doors slid open with a chime. They were inside already. The mother. The two boys. Backpacks, winter coats, that soft hum of morning life. Eleanor hesitated, just enough for her pulse to speak the truth her face refused to show. The mother smiled warmly. "Good morning." Eleanor stepped in, slow, controlled, as though entering a room she didn't trust. "Morning," she answered, staring straight ahead at the panel of buttons like they held salvation. The doors closed. A soft giggle. A shoe-tapping rhythm on metal floor. A whispered sibling joke in a language Eleanor didn't understand. She clutched her purse strap. Why must children be loud everywhere? Why must people fill space like this? The elevator hummed downward. The younger boy tugged her sleeve, gentle, hopeful. "Are you going to the lobby too?" he asked brightly. Eleanor startled slightly, eyes sharp before she softened them with effort. "Yes," she replied. "It's where the mailboxes are." He nodded like she'd said something fascinating. The older boy pointed at the emergency phone box. "Mom says elevators are safe unless the lights go out." Eleanor swallowed, too quickly. "Lights. Please don't say lights. Not today." The elevator glided for one calm second. Then dropped. Not far. Just enough for the stomach to lurch. A metallic shutter rattled the walls. The lights snapped off. A child gasped. Someone's backpack slid and hit the floor. Then, a hum, a crackle, nothing. Darkness like a lid on a jar. Eleanor's hand slapped the cold rail, missed. And found only air. "Oh, God, no." Her voice broke open, raw and unguarded. Breathing came fast, shallow, desperate. Like she was drowning in the small space. The older boy's silhouette shifted in the black. "Mom," he whispered. His mother put a steady hand on his shoulder. "We're okay," she whispered. "Just hold still." Eleanor wasn't okay. Her fingers clawed at her purse strap. Knuckles white, chest tight. Heat rushing up her throat in the panic. Not trapped. Please, not trapped. Her breath hitched again. A small sound, a click. A faint circle of light bloomed from a phone flashlight. Soft as a candle, trembling slightly in a child's hand. It illuminated 4 faces, the worried boys. The calm but tight jaw of their mother. And Eleanor, trembling, wide-eyed. The younger boy stepped forward, arm outstretched. "You can hold my light," he whispered. As if offering treasure. Eleanor shook her head, breath stuttering. No, I don't like small places." Her voice cracked around the truth. "I've been stuck before. It wasn't good." The boy offered his free hand, shy but steady. "Take my hand, you're not alone." Eleanor stared at it. Tiny fingers, earnest, unfiltered kindness. Her breath trembled again. But this time it slowed as she reached. Their hands met. Warmth. Anchor. A pulse that wasn't panic but presence. The elevator hummed faintly, a promise it wasn't falling. Someone exhaled relief. And in that small circle of light, Eleanor stopped shaking quite so much. If you're still watching, thank you. Please stay with us to the end, and do kindly subscribe and like. So we can keep sharing powerful human stories with you. Minutes passed, though Eleanor could not have counted them. Panic had loosened its grip, but her hand still held the boy's. Like release might pull her back into the dark again. The flashlight beam shook once. Not from fear this time. From a child trying to be brave for someone else. The elevator was quiet, except for breathing. 3 steady rhythms. And Eleanor's, slowly finding its way back home. The mother shifted, not toward her. But into a steadier footing, a shield without touching. "You've lived here long?" she asked gently. Eleanor swallowed. 43 years. It was quieter in those days. A soft smile touched the mother's face. Cities never stay quiet. Eleanor's gaze dropped. The younger boy let go of her hand long enough to dig into his pocket, producing a small foil-wrapped candy. "For you," he said proudly. "So you stay brave." Eleanor blinked, surprise cracking into something softer. "Oh, I can't take." "You held my hand," he said simply. "So I help you too." No argument could stand against logic that pure. She accepted. "Thank you," she whispered. And meant it. Then, the older boy, shy, but determined, hummed a quiet tune. A lullaby, gentle as warm milk and bedtime. His mother joined softly. A language Eleanor did not know. But grief and comfort sound the same in any tongue. The melody floated in the dark space. Steady, reassuring. Like someone stitching calm into the air. Eleanor pressed the candy to her chest before pocketing it. As if saving it for courage later. "My husband used to hum," she murmured, voice thick. The elevator hummed. A buzz, a flicker. Light returned, dim but steady. Not enough to erase what had happened. Just enough to see each other fully. The elevator sat still, humming faintly, half-lit like a secret only the four of them knew. No one panicked now. Eleanor's hand still held the boy's, not from fear anymore, but from something gentler. Something she hadn't felt in a long time, not being alone. Silence settled, soft, fragile, honest. Eleanor cleared her throat, voice tremoring but sincere. "I should know your names." The mother's smile showed in her voice more than the dim light. "I am Samira." She touched the shoulder beside her. "This is Farhad." The older boy offered a shy nod. "And this," she said, squeezing the younger one's hand, "is Omid." Omid grinned, proud, flashlight trembling only slightly. Eleanor repeated each name, not to memorize, but to honor. Samira. Farhad. Omid. A soft swallow. Beautiful. Omid brightened. "They mean things." Eleanor's eyebrows lifted, genuinely curious. "What do they mean?" Samira's voice softened. "Farhad means joy." Farhad looked down, embarrassed and pleased at once. "And Omid," she continued, "means hope." Eleanor's eyes glistened. She took a breath she didn't hide this time. "My name is Eleanor." A beat, a small, brave confession. "It means light." Omid's smile warmed the dim metal box. "That's good," he whispered. "We needed some." Eleanor laughed, a sound cracked then whole, like something waking up. And just then, as if the universe agreed, the elevator buzzed. Lights flickered bright. A voice crackled overhead. "Maintenance here, sit tight, we've got you." Doors opening soon. Eleanor didn't let go of Omid's hand immediately. And he didn't rush to pull away. In that tiny suspended world, they stayed connected until movement returned to the floor beneath them. The moment didn't break. It transformed. The elevator shuddered once more, then rose, slowly, gently, until metal doors parted with a tired sigh. Light from the hallway poured in, bright, ordinary, almost rude in its normalcy. They didn't move at first. Fear kept people still. But so did connection. Finally, Samira nodded toward the doorway. "We're safe." Eleanor exhaled, not shaky now, just full. Farhad stepped out first, backpack bumping his side. Omid followed, still holding the flashlight like a lantern in stories. Eleanor hesitated. Not from fear, from not wanting to break whatever had just held them together. Samira touched her elbow, not guiding, just offering presence. Eleanor stepped out. The hallway felt different, although it looked exactly the same. No one said anything at first. Silence hung between them, but not the kind that hurt. Finally, Omid lifted the flashlight. Farhad slung his backpack higher, suddenly shy again. "Goodbye, Mrs. Grant." Eleanor looked at him, truly saw him. "You can call me Eleanor." Samira's eyes softened with gratitude beyond words. Omid raised a hand, tiny and brave. "See you later?" Eleanor's laugh was gentle, disbelieving, hopeful. "Yes," she said. "I'd like that." The family walked toward the stairs, slow and familiar. Eleanor stood still for a moment, hand resting over the pocket where the candy was. Not for courage anymore. For memory. She breathed in the quiet. This time, it didn't feel like a shield. It felt like a choice. A few days later, Eleanor stood in her kitchen, hands dusted with flour, cookies cooling on a wire rack. She hadn't baked in months. Cookies were for guests, and she hadn't had guests since Harold. She arranged them carefully on a plate, more nervous than she cared to admit. At 4 o'clock sharp, 3 soft knocks sounded at her door. She opened it before she lost her nerve. Omid stood proudly at the front, holding a drawing, crayons, bright blues and oranges. The elevator, 4 figures, and a tiny yellow light. "For you," he announced. "So you don't forget us." Eleanor's breath caught. She pressed her hand to her chest, as if steadying a heart that hadn't practiced joy in a while. "I won't," she whispered. Farhad held out a tin shyly. Inside, small sesame cookies, uneven, handmade. "We baked too," he murmured. "Well. Mom did. We helped." Samira smiled, warm as sunlight through old curtains. They entered. Coats off, shoes by the door. Omid ran to the window to look at the city lights coming on. Farhad inspected the bookshelf quietly. Samira admired the framed photo of Harold. They sat. Tea poured. Cookies exchanged like small treaties between hearts. Not much talking. Just the soft hum of presence. And then, laughter. Not loud. Not wild. Just enough to fill the corners of the apartment that had gone dusty with silence. Eleanor listened, and instead of flinching at the sound, she let it live there. With them. With her. When they stood to leave, Omid waved dramatically. "See you tomorrow." Eleanor laughed, really laughed. "Yes. Tomorrow." The door closed gently behind them. She looked at the apartment, the same walls, same table, same chair. And yet. She placed the child's drawing on the mantel, next to Harold's picture, as if introducing him to the new chapter. Then she whispered to the stillness, not bitter this time, but grateful. "It's good noise." And for the first time in a long time, the quiet didn't feel lonely. It felt full. Alive. The building didn't change. Same walls. Same hallways. Same elevator humming through the bones of the place. The world outside still rushed, still hurried, still forgot to look up sometimes. But inside one quiet apartment, something small and extraordinary had shifted. A hand held in the dark. A name spoken with care. A child's drawing taped beside old memories. Fear hadn't disappeared. It had been met. And softened. By kindness. And in a world that teaches us to close our doors. To protect ourselves from what feels unfamiliar. To confuse silence with safety. A lonely woman learned something simple and enormous: the only walls that cage us are the ones we build around our own hearts. And sometimes, all it takes to open a door is a knock. Or a flashlight. Or a name. Or a small hand in the dark. Saying, "You don't have to shake alone." And that, sometimes, is enough to change everything. If this meant something to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know where you are watching from. Thank you for being part of this community of human stories.